Attica is an EP that I wrote and I recorded and all of that. I did it all at home on my computer and my little guitars that I have. At its core, Attica is about struggle and liberation, but more than that, it's also about emotion as well. And as I go on and talk about each song, you'll start to understand that. But starting with the first song, Attica, the title track, the first line is September 9th, 1971, which is actually the date of the Attica prison riots. Because you see where the EP gets its name from is from this incident that happened on September 9th, 1971 at Attica, which is it's a correctionary institute in New York. It's a prison. And what happened is on that date there was a prison riot because the prisoners were fed up with the way they were being treated. They had about one shower every week. The way the guards acted towards them was inhumane. There was a whole host of human rights violations that took place. And the people who were in prison there, they were sick of it. So they started a riot and they captured 7 guards as hostages. And they set up a little encampment in one of the prison blocks. And for 4 days, they negotiated. You see, this got a lot of news coverage at the time, and there were a lot of people who were in support of the prisoners. They had negotiations. They even talked to the governor of New York at the time. And ultimately what happened was the negotiations were for nothing because the state forces entered the prison and they shot and killed 40 of the prisoners. And they killed many of the guards indiscriminately too. Many of the prisoners who were shot were surrendering as well. They didn't want to die, you know? Who does want to die? And even though I don't directly reference the riot for the entire song, if you listen to the lyrics, you'll understand that in essence, it's from the same spirit. One line that sticks out to me in this song is when I say, "Don't stop dreaming, because they'll kill you for much less." And historically, that's true. It really is. But in spite of that, you keep trying anyways, because they'll kill you for much less. You might as well try, you know? The second song is called "We Are All Going Out, Final Days on Earth." Now, essentially, this song, well, some people interpret it as coping with death, which I understand why you might think that, but it's a lot more than that to me. I say we're all going out, we're going together, our final days on earth. I think it's pretty strange. Sometimes when I write lyrics like that, it's hard to explain what they mean. It's hard to articulate it like how I can when I'm writing lyrics. For me, it's more of just emotions that I try to capture. There's probably a lot of meaning you'll be able to find. And in the song, I say all my heroes died. I don't fight to win. Because I don't believe that you fight evil because you want to win. You have to fight it because it is evil. The fact that it's evil alone is enough to warrant fighting it off or doing your best to, even despite the fact that you know you might not win. I guess it's just kind of a moral thing at that point. You might as well do something worthwhile, even at the cost of your own life sometimes. There's some things that are more important than your own life, you know? And I say, I used to think I needed help to define who I was. It's another lyric from that song. Yeah, I did used to think that. I used to always look for other people's input on who I was for a long time, and I never really stopped to wonder who I was. And then I did. And I thought about it a lot, you know, and I still think about it every day. My ego, who I am, essentially. And I came to the conclusion that in order to know the world more fully, you have to know yourself, and you have to know your biases, and you have to know where all the possible gaps in your perception are. And you have to be content with yourself, or your view of the world will be skewed as well if you're not. So, yeah, we're all going out. The third song is called True Believer. It gets the title from the fact that I am indeed a true believer. Plants can grow from the cracks in the concrete walls. What that is saying is that through determination, even the most impossible circumstances become possible. And life always finds a way, you know? And the world will heal itself, whether or not we are around. In the song, I say that the punk rock kids all lost their faith, which is just it's a way to say that a lot of the passion and the political anger that was in these alternative spaces and subcultures. Now it's all watered down to just mere aesthetics and to the way you dress, but it wasn't always like that. Yeah, so the punk rock kids all lost their faith, but there's still hope. There's still hope. I guess that's just how societies work and move. Whenever there's a new thesis, there's an antithesis to combat it, and in this case, the thesis was the status quo. And the antithesis were these alternative subcultures which seeked to create spaces where they were exempt from mainstream culture, so to speak. They were free to be a part of a counterculture that opposed the main one. They were very critical of it. All these countercultures were not seeking to dismantle the status quo necessarily, not all of them, but seeking to change it through a counterculture. And you don't see a lot of that even in alternative spaces anymore. Like I said, it's all kind of watered down to aesthetics. The anger is still there, it's just directed at the wrong things, or it's not directed at all, or it's just, the anger is kind of just released in the form of anger towards your parents, anger towards society even, but not necessarily directed or focused. It's just kind of energy that they release, and there's no beauty in that, there's nothing honorable in that. And that's true believer. Now the fourth song is titled For All of Us. Well, what you need to know about this song is that it was written when I was kind of, I don't want to say I was in a daze, but I was in a deep flow state where the song came to me and I didn't necessarily think about what I was saying or how I was playing my guitar or what the grand meaning of the song was. All I know is that it just came to me and it left just as quickly. I think I wrote it in about 30-40 minutes maybe. And when I look back and I reflect on the lyrics and I try to come to some kind of definitive conclusion about what it might mean, I think it was written from a place of idealism. My idealism towards the future. It's from a place of knowing that a lot of the things that we've tried have failed. A lot of the progress that we've tried to make has been stifled. And I'm aware of that. And I know it's past. But at the same time, I'm aware of the future. But I'm not naive in my idealism. I understand that history often does repeat itself, but that's no reason to stop trying. You gotta try regardless of that, or maybe in spite of that fact. Now, in the song I say, revolution came so close, dreaming of some perfect world for all of us. And that kind of sums it up, the whole ethos of this song, so to speak. And there you have it. That was a brief summary of this EP, Attica, and what it means to me, what it might mean to you or to other people. Thank you for making it to the end of the video, and if you're interested, I encourage you to go check out the work. I put a lot of soul, a lot of heart into the work, and I think that you might find some enjoyment or some value from it. I'll have it linked in the description box of this video, along with all my socials and everything of that sort. Peace.